Hi, this is Ken Fletcher. In this video, I will be giving users that are new to Blender some settings, or just making you aware of some settings that you may want to change that will help you increase your productivity. Before we begin, if you haven't already, make sure you hit that subscribe button right here, and there should be a little bell icon, and or follow me on Twitter so you can get the latest updates when I post a video. Without further ado, let's get started. Before I begin, I'll say this at the end of the video. If you don't like any of these settings, or if you change something and you want to change it back, or you're not sure how to change it back, just go up to File and load factory settings, and that should give you a vanilla version of Blender without any changes. Okay, so right off the bat, let's go and change the render engine to cycles. Let's go down to where it says 250 in the timeline and change that to 1 frame. Let's remove the timeline. Now, I will say this: if you're doing any animation, what I just told you to do, you don't want to do. Just leave the timeline the way it is. Next, let's go to the viewport and click in, open up this shelf, and then scroll down to where it says view, and where it says end, you'll see clip, it'll say start end. Where it says end, just add 2 or 3 zeros and click enter. Select the camera icon, go over to click this camera icon over here, and we're going to pretty much do the same. Where it says clipping, just add 3 to 4 zeros to that. You can also change the size of that icon over here where it says size, and you can change that size right there. And let's go back to this tool shelf right here and change shading. Under shading, click the box that says next to textured solid. Next, we want to go to user preferences and file user preferences, and on the interface tab, go ahead and click auto perspective. For editing, click auto keyframing. For input, if you are using a mouse that does not have a third button, if you are using a laptop, if you are using a keyboard that does not have a number pad, make sure you click these 2 settings: emulate 3 button mouse and emulate number pad. Go over to file, click auto run Python scripts. Also click show thumbnails. Go to system. If you have a GPU, switch from CPU to GPU. To do that, I have CUDA enabled, so click CUDA and that will automatically select my graphics card. You may have 1 or 2. Just select whichever graphics card you would like to use. And I believe finally, if you're doing any video editing and if you have enough RAM, right now it's a little over 1,000. You may want to bump that up to 3,000 depending on how much RAM you have available. So I'm gonna put that at 5,000, and let's see, click save user settings, close that, and let's go to this render tab over here. Let's get rid of this shelf. This first area right here where it says render, change CPU to GPU. When you want to render something out, always use animation. Go down to where it says dimensions, change 50% to 100%. Make sure it says, where it says end frame, it says 1. To output, make sure you select your output, click that button, and choose the folder where you would like where you would like to render the image at. Change this to JPEG and click RGB. If you want to save an image that has a transparency, switch this to PNG, RGBA, and scroll down to where it says film and click transparent, and that should give you a transparency. Go down to sampling and change this to 500. That will increase your render time. Next, go down to performance. I changed this number to 256. These two numbers, 256. If you're rendering using a graphics card, which I am currently, if you're rendering from a CPU, change that to 32. If you're not sure, just leave that the way it is. I think it was at 64. Next, move over to this globe icon. Click use node. Change this color to white. Now you can either change this to 0, or change this to a number that's below 1, like a really small number, like 0.1 or 0.2. We're gonna leave that at 0.1. And I believe for the most part that's it. I usually get rid of the lamp icon. That's always there by default. And just, I believe that's pretty much it. Real quick, there's a setting here. Usually when I light my scene, I use like an object like this, like a light card. Just to let you know, right next to when you have your object selected, like a light card or something like that, that emits light, what you probably want to do is click this cube icon and scroll down to where it says cycle settings and uncheck camera. So that basically allows what it actually does is, like, when you render something and like this is a light card, this emits light, this is my light in my scene. When it actually renders the image, it's not going to actually render the light. So if I have the camera like this, and I render it, it's going to block the object or the scene. But I think that's pretty much it. This is the settings I use when I first open up a project, and I like to do this, and it actually speeds up my workflow. But again, that's pretty much it. If you don't like any of these settings, like I said in the beginning of the video, go up to File and Load Factory Settings, and you should be back to where you started. If you haven't already, make sure you hit that subscribe button, follow me on Twitter, and check out my other videos. I'll see you guys later.